All right, enough. Give me your phone. Give me your phone right now, or put it back here, because I can see that you're trying to send that text to him even though you know damn well that you shouldn't. Let me stop you right there before any more damage is caused, because if I see yet another beautiful woman trying to chase some man that's shown her nothing but disrespect, I'm literally going to lose it. But I need closure. No, you don't. You need self-respect, babes, because the moment that he stopped showing up for you, that's when you got your closure. Listen, this video is your much needed wake-up call, because you're gonna get a full-on guide on how to dump him, get over it, and remember who the you are. So let's get into it. And as always, here are the timestamps of the video. If there's anything in particular that you want to skip to, although I wouldn't suggest that, then feel free to do it, but let's go ahead and start. First of all, I want to acknowledge what you are feeling and what you're probably going through right now, because I've been there myself. You are probably holding on to hope of what it could have been, and this scenario of what you've already kind of prepared yourself for, which was the positive scenario. You're probably rereading messages, revisiting memories, looking at pictures, and kind of trying to find some sort of a pattern that maybe you have missed and why this person suddenly dumped you, left you. You're trying to understand what caused this, and maybe you missed some sort of a sign. Every mixed signal that you see, which is probably them liking your stories or responding to your stories, or maybe they even reach out to you sometimes, it probably gives you even more of that hope, and you are thinking, okay, they definitely care about me, they definitely think of me, so surely we still can work it out, right? And no matter how many times you spend time with your friends, with your family, your closer circles, or do something genuinely nice to yourself, it seems as though your mind always wanders off and it always comes back to that person. And especially when something nice happens to you, or something happens throughout your day in general, it hits you even more, because now you can't really just message them and tell them about it, which of course makes it even worse to cope with, which ultimately leads you to thinking that you've probably done something wrong, or that you are not enough, that you maybe missed some sort of signs, or maybe you are ultimately the reason as to why this person left you, and you constantly are in this loop and you don't know how to get out of it. Okay, well, that's enough. I'm gonna give you a wake-up call right now and tell you exactly why you should be taking care of yourself, and why all of those things that you're holding onto you should let go of. First of all, this hope that you're holding on to is actually a fake scenario. It is literally an imagination. It's fantasy. You are living in a fantasy land, babes. Actions always speak louder than words, and what they did was what they meant. There is no hidden meaning behind it. There's no hidden patterns. There's nothing that you've missed. What you've got is exactly what they were meant to show you. That's exactly what they wanted to show you. There's nothing else that you should be looking out for, because what you got is the reality, and that's what you are dealing with. And there's no reason to justify or excuse their behavior. They are grown people, and they did what they did, and they meant to do it. They had the choice and they chose to hurt you. And the worst you can do for yourself is try to text them and tell them exactly how much it hurt you and how bad of people they are, or maybe you just want to, give them extra chance and kind of try to work things out. The reason why this is the worst possible idea that you can come up with in this situation is because it's not gonna do anything, and all it's gonna do to you is just make a fool out of yourself. You are completely disrespecting yourself and yourself only by thinking about messaging them and trying to explain things to them, because no matter how many times you're gonna try and explain something to someone, that is not going to change anything. They knew what they were doing, babe. They knew that they were gonna hurt you, and they did it anyway. And these mixed signals show nothing more than lack of respect to you from that person, because if they respected you and if they truly wanted you to heal and move on from this, they wouldn't reach out to you. They wouldn't give you that false hope that you're holding on to so tightly. They wouldn't do none of that stuff, because they would simply know that this is hurting you and it's not for your higher good. If they are doing this by liking your stories, messaging you from time to time, trying to reach out to you and doing all sorts of things, that means they don't respect you, they don't respect your healing, and they don't want you to move on, they don't want you to heal. But what they are doing is probably keeping you as the second option in case something doesn't work out. They always can come back to you, because they know that you're gonna just accept them just like that. And you should never tie your worth to external validation. And jumping from one relationship to another will not fix it. So now this leads us on to the ultimate guide to healing from a breakup, to dumping him and moving on, and actually remembering who the you are. So the first step in this whole process is actually grieving, which is the stage that you're going through right now. Grieving is a normal response. It's a human response, because at the end of the day, this person meant something to you. This person was someone that you trusted, you loved, you cared about, and suddenly they are gone from your life. They've hurt you, they've done something mean to you, and all you're left with is yourself and this whole confusion, overwhelm. And it's okay to feel this way. What is not okay is dwelling on this and trying to mope around for ages, because at some point you need to pick yourself up. But the thing is, to move on from that grieving stage, you need to let yourself feel all the feelings and really let yourself process them. If you want to bed roll all day, do that. Whatever it is that you feel like you need to do, just do it. So to make this grieving process much easier for you, and to make it easy to get out of that grieving process, I actually broke it down into smaller steps that you can apply from today and start doing them, because that will help you process the emotions and let go of those emotions, so then you can move on to healing. So the first advice from me is block them everywhere. Every single thing that you have them on, delete, block, remove them from your life. Because one thing is, what they are doing right now post breakup is none of your goddamn business, just like it's not theirs. And if they don't care, why should you? Because at the end of the day, this person was here for a purpose, they served the purpose, and now they are gone. The only way to not get that temptation of checking in on them and trying to see what they are doing is completely blocking them, deleting them from your life, and not checking on them. The second piece of advice in the grieving process is to write a letter to your ex. Now, the trick here is to not send that letter. It's basically for you to get that closure yourself. All you need to do is open your notes up, or even better, write it down on paper. Write everything down, unfiltered, raw, just as it comes out. So don't worry about the grammar, don't worry about swearing and being mean in that letter. Literally let everything out, and after that, burn it, delete it, stomp on it. This will literally become a symbol of this closure and ending things on your end, and emotionally letting go of that person. The third piece of advice is clarity journal. Now, clarity journal will serve you as this emotional cleanse. This is where you're gonna just write down all of your feelings, and this is for you to process them and let them all out. So again, don't worry about the grammar, don't worry about the spelling, don't worry about the wording, because you need to empty this emotional space and let go of all of those emotions and the influence that person has over you. The advice number 4 is use your notes app as the texting page. Now, this is for those people that genuinely feel very empty and they wish they could have, shared some memories with that person, or just message them and tell them about their day. This will help you let go of them and actually close that chapter completely. So what I want you to do every time that you get the urge to message them, or you think to yourself, oh, it would be nice to be able to message them and tell them how my day is going, go to your notes app and write the text message that you would send to them. And to do this successfully, you should progressively text less and less and less, and delete each text that you're coming up with, so that at the very end you don't feel that urge anymore. Because the trick with this method is that the more you actually text them, the more you hold on to hope that they're gonna respond. So that's why you need to close it, and you need to do it progressively less and less and less, so then you genuinely start closing that chapter and letting go of it completely. Advice number 5 is therapy. Now, if you feel like you can't deal with it anymore and you just don't have this emotional maturity, or you're struggling with the whole situation and it's genuinely weighing on you, then what you should do is speak to a professional, because the professional will help you with self-awareness, emotional maturity, and actually breaking down the situation into completely different mindset shifts that will help you understand it. And more so, it will be a personalized advice, because what I'm giving you is more of a generic advice, because I don't know your circumstances. So if you feel like you genuinely can't deal with it anymore, please go to therapy. There's no shame in going to therapy after a breakup, because a lot of breakups are intense, and maybe they were abusive, maybe they were very toxic, and they actually left a big scar on you. The sooner you go to therapy, the better, because you will be able to heal fully. Number 6 is make a list of red flags. Now, this is for you to genuinely flip the script and think of this person as someone that was actually not worth your time, because you probably hold on to the memory of that person being nice to you from time to time. But trust me, when you actually write down what genuinely was a red flag to you in this relationship. Maybe there were situations that genuinely made you unhappy, uncomfortable, stressed, anxious. Write it all down, everything about that person that genuinely annoyed you, because that will show you that you dodged the bullet, babe. And not only that, it will genuinely help you understand why you guys didn't work out. It will help you understand and see exactly and very clearly why this person was not meant for you and why you guys clashed. And number 7, I believe, will be identifying your dream relationship. So now that you have that list of red flags, now next to it, write down a dream relationship, a dream partner, every quality about that partner, specifically personality, but also look and compare it and see how much far off that person was from what you actually deserve and want in your life. This will help you immensely with letting go of that person and understanding that they were not meant for you, and that you can have so much more than this and you can receive such better treatment, ultimately making it so much easier to close that chapter and let go of it. Now that we've nailed our grieving stage, we get to the healing phase, and that is where you finally step up, you remember who the hell you are, and you start moving towards self-love, personal development, and just bettering yourself as a person. This stage is where you see that your emotions start to shift, like you feel a bit more alive and you feel like you are ready to move on and you feel much more self-aware. And that's when you know that the grieving has gone, it's past us now, and we can now focus on ourselves and move forward. So the advice number 1 for the healing stage and moving on phase is to look inwards. So you really need to identify what actually causes you to get into those kind of relationships, because newsflash, it is you. Yes, the problem is in you. And I know how it sounds, I know how harsh it comes off, but it is the reality. Because the way you think of yourself and the way you treat yourself and the way you think of love, this is what you settle for. So if you feel like you're not worthy of love, maybe you're scared that there's no real love out there, maybe you think that you have to settle for the bare minimum because you can't find any better, because all men are bad and everything around us is bad. Maybe you grew up looking at toxic patterns in love and that's what you've learned as your normality. Maybe you're scared to face reality on your own without any distractions, and that's why you jump from one relationship to another. Ultimately, the way you treat yourself and think of yourself is who you attract into your life, because people actually can fully see how you think of yourself and what you do for yourself. And toxic people love that, and you don't want them in your life, do you? So that's why you need to look inwards and really face the reality and problems that are causing those situations. Advice number 2 is that people come and go. The thing is, people come into our life to serve some sort of a purpose. This always carries a lesson, because when you've got so many relationships, so many failed relationships over and over again, there's some sort of a lesson that you're still not learning, and that's why it will be coming to you all the time until you actually snap out of it and learn. And that might be, again, self-love, self-respect. There might be so many patterns that you need to discover. Whatever it is, the reason why those people come, and they're probably the same person but in a different font, is because you need to learn some sort of a lesson. And that's why this video is here for you, because you can now identify that probably you were stuck in a really toxic pattern for a long time. And people leaving our lives is actually a very good sign, because that means some other doors are opening for us. They are making space for someone else to come into it, and someone much better than them. And I know it's probably is easier said than done, but I know that after a while you will genuinely see that there was no reason to cry and you're gonna be fine, because there's probably many people that have been in your life and they left and you're still fine, you're still standing. So you're gonna be fine this time as well. Advice number 3, cut out casual dating. Listen, the amount of people that will tell you to sleep around, to date around, to just become a serial dater, distract yourself that way. Oh my God, please do not listen to them. This is the worst that you can do for yourself, especially in a healing stage when you are still a bit fragile, you are still a bit vulnerable. And trust me, when you go into pubs or clubs or any other place where there's specifically drinking involved, you will probably find another toxic man there, because trust me, these places are literally a breeding ground for all of those toxic men for some reason. And ultimately, that's going to distract you from what you really need to be doing. It is literally a distraction from healing, because you need to face certain things to become better and understand yourself better. And you're not going to do it by going out and drinking and sleeping around and meeting millions of people, because that's just going to keep you in the same loop forever. Advice number 4 is sit with your feelings. This is specifically when you are so attached to sharing every single feeling that you feel with the person that you broke up with, because you need to learn how to face your feelings without anyone else and how to manage them yourself. You're probably scared to face this alone because you probably were very dependent on the advice that that person would give you. You need to put your phone on D&D and not text anybody whenever a hard feeling comes up. You need to sit down and face it yourself. Talk about it to yourself and try to give yourself an advice. Journal it out, say it out loud, even scream, cry, do whatever you need to, but sit with that feeling and try to understand what it means and what it's doing to you. Because the more dependent you are on external advice and validation, the worse it will be for you to cope with things on your own. And like I said, people come and go. So the sooner you learn how to regulate yourself and how to balance your emotions, the better for you. Don't try to overshare with every single person that you meet, because that's essentially what got you into those toxic patterns in the first place. Number 5 is complete your bucket list yourself. So there's probably many things that you wanted to do with that person. Maybe you were planning to go on a concert with them, or maybe see a restaurant, see a movie together. Do all of those things alone. The purpose of this is to prove yourself that you can have as much fun, if not more, by yourself, and it's not attached to that person or any other person in general. And this ultimately helps you let go of them, because you are now taking yourself out on those things and completing that bucket list that you've got. And that also proves you that you don't need a person to take you out, you can do it yourself, which also rises your standards. And number 6 is solo dating. Now this ties perfectly with what we discussed just a second ago, but this is about you taking yourself out on dates and doing things like you would with that person. So make a reservation at your favorite restaurant and dress up for the occasion and go and have fun, get yourself a nice meal, go to a cinema, take yourself out and show yourself the love that you wanted to see from that person. This also teaches you how to spend quality time on your own, and that way you don't depend on others, and your happiness doesn't depend on the experiences that you get with other people, because you are content and happy by yourself, which also again rises your standards in friendships and in relationships, because you know that you can give yourself that exact thing. So therefore you're not gonna accept bare minimum anymore. People that can't reach that, it will literally repel them, because they know they can't get to that standard. Now the advice number 7, I think, is change your routine. This step is for you to prioritize your routines and your schedules and not try to fit it around someone else's. This is for you to change your routines completely and change your thinking and attachment to others, because now you're going to prioritize yourself. Now you need to fill your own cup. Now you can finally prioritize your hobbies, things that you wanted to start but you couldn't because of that person. Now you can do things that you genuinely wanted to but you didn't have time or resources. And another very useful thing to do in this step is actually revisiting significant locations that you used to visit with your ex. Now this is for you to again go there and completely detach that location from that person, and basically whenever you are there, you're not triggered, you feel nothing, you don't feel any sort of emotion about it, because you are already letting go of that situation. You don't attach that person to that specific location. Step number 8 is to learn to love yourself unconditionally. You are the only person that will stick with you by your side for the rest of your life. So the bare minimum that you owe to your damn self is unconditional love, because that again rises your standards and you will not accept anything else other than devoted and real love from others, because you are already loving yourself enough. But remember, the key is to not need to be loved, because you are already loving yourself so much and so unconditionally that you don't long for love from others. You don't need it because you are content with yourself. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to be loved or you don't want to have a partner anymore. What it means is that you love yourself so much that if someone doesn't show it to you, you're not gonna be asking for it. So you're not going to be chasing it, you're not going to be trying to ask for love, because you have enough from yourself already. Now the last piece of advice for moving on and healing, number 9, is to cut out partying. Now partying is yet another distraction, and especially because there's alcohol involved, there's a lot of substances going on, this will only sabotage your whole journey and the whole work that you are putting into bettering yourself. Remember, in order to heal, you need to sit with yourself for a while and really face all of those struggles and problems and inner issues that you are having, in order to become better and really work on them. Please remember that there's a very fine line between casual partying and doing it as an escapism. And now this leads us on to the to-do list that you can apply today and start healing, start grieving, moving on from the situation, and basically equipping you in tools that will help you make it even more effective. So the first task that I want you to do is find 5 new restaurants or places that you want to go to in the next 5 months. Make it a priority to actually visit them. This is for your solo dating experiences. And you don't have to do 1 per month, you can do 2 or 3 per month. The key is to actually genuinely go on those solo dates and schedule them as literally appointments that you want to attend. Please do yourself a favor and take yourself out on a date. You don't know how much fun it actually brings into your life. The task number 2 is list all of the places that were significant to your relationship and revisit them. So going back to what I spoke about earlier in this video, the purpose of this is to revisit those locations and detach that person from those locations. The task number 3 is sit down and revisit your routines and change them. So this is for you to reflect on what's been working for you so far and what you want to incorporate into your routines. Give yourself the permission to include some fun time into your routines, maybe some hobbies, maybe some passion projects. Task number 4 is writing 3 passion projects or hobbies that you wanted to start but you never had the time to. This ties nicely into the routines because now you can also schedule that in. And finally, task number 5 is write down your ideal partner list and really think about all the qualities about that partner that you would actually want to spend your life with. Keep this in your notes app or somewhere that you can easily access, because every time that you speak to someone, you can actually look at this and remind yourself of your standards and who you actually are looking for. And this is the end of this video. I hope that you genuinely enjoyed it and found it useful and helpful. And I want to remind you that healing is not linear, and this whole journey might be triggering. There might be moments that you will have ups and downs, and that's absolutely okay. And I know this is hurting right now, but trust me, you will be fine. I believe in you. And please let me know down in the comments what actually stood out to you and what you're gonna apply from today, and let me know how you are doing. Let me know how you're feeling. I genuinely want to give you advice, so feel free to reach out to me via DM as well. And also remember to follow me on TikTok, Instagram and Snapchat. Also, you will be able to listen to my videos as podcasts on Spotify. Everything is linked down below. If you're looking for some books as well, I link them down below. There's a whole section of books that genuinely changed my life, and there's a lot of them about self-love and self-respect. So in this journey, it will definitely help you looking into them. But other than that, that's everything from me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.